All right, this is Brandon from Noob Alert talking to Shane from El Shaddai.
I'm not from El Shaddai, but I work on El Shaddai.
I thought you lived there. I thought that was the whole thing.
Well, you know, El Shaddai actually means Almighty God. So to say I'm from God, that's kind of hardcore. So.
You are God-like in appearance. I don't know. So I had a chance, an opportunity to play this game. It's beautiful.
Thank you.
It's fun. It's quick and fast. Tell me, what are the elements? What is El Shaddai?
Well, it's kind of a big game to wrap your brain around, because in the beginning, our team in London about 2.5 years ago thought, wouldn't it be cool if we make a character action game based on the Book of Enoch? And if you don't know what that is, it's part of the Dead Sea Scrolls, these kind of deleted chapters of the Old Testament that kind of got lost along the way. And we thought, you know, we've had games based on Greek, Roman, Norse, Japanese mythology. Why not? We all loved games like DMC, God of War. So we're like, okay, if we do this, let's have it made somewhere where we'll get something really unique. So let's go to Japan, because we all love Japanese games.
Yeah.
Specifically, we really liked Okami, a game that came out from Clover Studios at Capcom, PS2, and for GameCube. So we went to Clover had just broken up. So we went to the art director from that game named Sawaki Takayasu and said, hey, what do you think of this Book of Enoch idea? He's like, this is really cool. I don't know about this, but I want to learn about it. So he kind of put a team together. They researched Book of Enoch, and we told them, well, don't just do the straight Book of Enoch, because it's a little bit boring. So, you know, make it into a game. Add some elements to make it a little more exciting, and you can change it a little bit, but keep the overall story arc the same. So that's kind of what they came up with. And since Sawaki is such a creative artist, we're like, dude, do whatever you want. Like, whatever's in your brain, put that in the game. And don't try to make it look real, because every game's trying to look photorealistic. We want our game to stand out. We want it to look like you're walking through an art gallery, like, on acid, exploring crazy shit. I mean, it's a mind trip. Every level looks different. And even within one level, you'll be seeing different things and doing different things.
And I was actually playing around the game. It's a platform. So I mean, you gotta jump around.
Sometimes.
Yeah. And then, so who are the enemies? Who's the hero?
Okay, so the story at the very beginning of the game, God has created the earth, and he sent 7 of his top angels down to watch over it. But over time, these angels fall in love with humanity. They're like, these people are awesome, and the people start worshiping the angels instead of God. And it goes so far that the people and the angels start intermingling.
Yeah.
And when they have an offspring, it's this thing called a Nephilim. It's like this big blob, because it's this unholy evolution. And these Nephilim keep like reproducing, and they're going to take over the world. So God is like, this is not good. This is not what I wanted to do. And he's going to send a great flood down to like reset humanity, you know, the great flood. But up in heaven, the #1 angel is Lucifer, but he's still an angel, so they call him Lucifel because he hasn't fallen. And Lucifer's like, wait a minute, God, we have this dude working up here in heaven, this human named Enoch. And actually, in the book of Genesis, in our Bible, Enoch is taken to heaven to live forever and work. So God's like, all right, they won't suspect that Enoch is coming to get them, and Lucifer has foreknowledge, so he actually knows that Enoch is special and destined for great things. So they send you down as Enoch in the very beginning of the game with no weapons, down to earth, and you have to bring these angels back to justice. And along the way, you also have to reclaim the weapons that were stolen from heaven by the angels, and they gave them to their followers. So that's kind of a part of the gameplay. So in the first level, you find an enemy who has a weapon, and you have to take it back from him. And when you do that, you purify it, because it's been tainted by their corrupted souls. So while you're fighting, your weapons actually slowly degrade, so you have to constantly be thinking about how strong they are, and by you press the L trigger, you purify it. But when you do that, you're vulnerable, so it's kind of this risk-reward, kind of like a reload for your melee weapon. And that's the central gameplay conceit for the first few levels. It's just like getting different weapons, fighting, you know, pinpoint kind of Devil May Cry, Bayonetta-style combat. But then as you progress, you do get to levels that are 2D side-scrolling, kind of like Mario levels. And then later in the game, there's also driving levels. So
cool.
It's kind of all over the place, but in a cool,
Are you riding a
fresh way.
Seraphim or something like that? Or?
You're actually riding a futuristic motorcycle through like a megalopolis.
This is not from Japan.
It's right. This game is from Japan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but I see there's a lot of, you use a lot of the, I guess Christian, Jewish, like, word, and like characters, words, symbols all from that time era. Are you yourself one that knows a lot of this, or you had to learn it all? Because
you know, like, I've always been interested in comparative religion and theology, but I got to say, the Book of Enoch, I didn't really know it. And when I started getting into it and going down that rabbit hole and learning about it, it's really interesting. And I think people who get into this might go ahead and like spoil where this is going, because you know, this game doesn't contain the entire Book of Enoch; it's just part of it. So yeah, I think that's interesting, and I think where it does relate to the Bible characters that we know, I think people will find that interesting. But and we're very careful not to offend anyone.
Yeah, I was going to ask if it's going to be ever like, oh hey, they like, we're going to make fun of God or something like that. It's nothing like it's sacrilegious, so you're not stepping on toes.
Right, we're very careful about that, and God never actually appears in the game. There are cell phone conversations with God, but you only hear the other. You hear the other end of it. You don't hear God's.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Now to focus on the actual game itself, it's beautiful. The artistic. I mean, the colors, everything, and I like how there's no life bar.
Right.
Your life bar is your armor.
Right.
So you really get to focus on, you get to see all the beautiful things.
Exactly. That's totally by design. The director, Sawaki, he wanted no HUD at all, no indicators, because he feels like people will look at those, like you'll look at the meters, you'll look at the numbers, you'll get kind of confused, like, and he wanted to put people to focus on the art, because he spent so much time on this art, and to keep you in the game. So everything is contextual. Like your armor breaks away as you get hurt, your weapons, when they get defiled, they turn a different color, they flash. So there's always a visual cue to tell you what you're supposed to be doing, and I think that's really cool. And like after like a few minutes, you want every game to have no HUD, you know, because you can really appreciate the graphics. So I thought it was a cool idea.
Now, what about the whole continuation system as well? I died because the game is actually kind of hard. So like, I just mashed the buttons.
So that's one thing. We wanted to keep people always in the game. So in the middle of combat, if you die, if you just hit the buttons really fast, you come back to life. But every time you do that, it gets a little harder. You have to press them faster. So after like 6 or 7 times, it's a real challenge. The most I've ever done is 9. And when you finally can't do that anymore, you just reload a checkpoint. It's still pretty forgiving. We're also forgiving with the platforming because there's tons of jumping in the game. And if you fall in a pit, we kind of put you right back in front of the pit. You lose a tiny, like 1/16th of a piece of armor. Okay. So you'd have to fall in that same pit like 20 times to really get hurt. But there's lots of jumping. And later in the game, the levels are like Super Mario Brothers 8-3 hard, like serious, crazy jumps. I was like, damn, this is hardcore. Yeah.
I mean, but it's at, so if you're gonna, you say hardcore, who are you gearing this
So
towards?
it's for 2 markets. For like those of us who have played Devil May Cry or Bayonetta, start this game on normal, and it starts out a little easy, and then by level 5, it's Ninja Gaiden hard. Like, first enemy on level 5 walked up to me and killed me, regular enemy. I was like, I need to learn how to counterattack. But if you play on easy, when you first start out, easy says, for those who just want to enjoy the graphics and story, it's dead easy. I mean, like, your little sister could play it, your mom could play it, and that's the whole idea. Like, you could play it if you're drunk off your ass, like, just enjoy the game. And when you beat it on normal, you unlock 2 much harder difficulty levels and some other unlockables. So it goes pretty deep. It took me about 13 hours to beat it the first time on normal. So there's a lot there.
So how can we get this great game?
Well, this demo is actually available this week on PlayStation Network and Xbox Live Arcade. You can bring the E3 experience home, and then it launches on both PlayStation 3, Xbox 360, July 26th. No. For real, dude. Like a month and a half away.
Pardon, Mom. No shit.
Yeah, we're kind of stealthing up on you. Like, we want to make a big splash, and we're really stoked that people are actually appreciating it because it is something different, you know? Like, a lot of games here are trying to look like real life. This game is not real life. No.
And actually, don't get me wrong, I love the PC games, I love the free games. I'm a console gamer, so I'm very excited you said XBLA and PSN. Yeah. Hopefully the game won't get hacked by PSN. Well, just kidding.
So please download the demo and go pre-order the game up on Amazon. Be awesome.
Shane, thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
All right.